What's up, YouTube? It's Mr. Fett. Today we got a Mu-Tron Bi-Phase. This is the one with the 2-button foot switch. It also comes with a, some of them you can get, there's an option for a pedal, like a volume pedal type thing. But this one is the one with just the foot switch. What the foot switch does, and it is required, don't try to buy one of these without either the foot switch or the pedal, because it's required to turn on and off the two phasers. The great thing about what's so cool about these bi-phases, a couple things, couple more stages than the Phase 90. It uses a photo cell for the phasing effects, and this is two separate phasers in one that can be run in series, so one after the other, or they can be run in parallel. It can also be run in true stereo. You've got an input A and an input B for phaser A and phaser B, and you've got an output A and B. So you can run one input into phaser A, one input into phaser B, and have them pan differently, or like I said, you can run them together one after the other. So there's all different kinds of configurations you can get, and I'm going to demo some of those. I'm not doing any stereo or even the parallel, because you would need multiple amps, and although I have multiple amps here, I'm just using camera mic, and I'm not sure it would sound any different. So I'm going to demo though the features of what you can do with this thing. Alright, first we'll start with just checking out phaser A. So I turned off phaser B. I'm plugged into input A, and that's going to bring me right into phaser A, which I have turned on. Okay, I've got my sweep generator, which is like an LFO, and I've got two different waveforms I can use for the LFO. Now, and I can change the speed with this rate dial, so. That's the square wave. Let's listen to what the sine wave sounds like. You also have a depth, which is pretty standard, the depth of the phasing effect. So let's demo that. Okay. Now the feedback knob is cool. What phasing is doing is it's kind of notching the signal. What a feedback knob is doing is it's adding some peaks in there to give you a little bit of like an overloaded effect without causing distortion. And it's great because even when you're at low rate settings, it still brings out some of the more of the phasing effect. So let's try that. So zero feedback. Even though the depth is up real high, as I bring in the feedback, Alright, so that's phaser A. This button here is if you have, there's two things you can use it for. If you have that pedal that I mentioned, you can set this to pedal, and then it turns off the sweep generator, turns off the LFO, and you can use the pedal as an LFO to do your sweeps. The other thing you can use the pedal for is you can use the pedal, you can turn this here, and instead of this knob controlling the LFO, your pedal can control the LFO, your volume pedal thing. Now the other cool thing is, if you don't have that that Mu-Tron one, which is super expensive to get on its own, you can mod these to accept CV in. There's a CV in and out mod, and then you can access these pedal functions just with a standard Moog EP3 or EP2, those or any of them, the Roland EV5s, I think, right? Any of those expression pedals that output control voltage, you can use if you mod this to accept control voltage in. So that's a really cool feature that you can do, and the mod is up online, and if you find a tech, or if you're handy, you can do it yourself, or you can take it to your tech, and then you can, and of course if you do that, you can use all sorts of other things, not just an expression pedal, right? Then you could sync the sweep with whatever else you have going CV. So that's a cool option for these. But this is stock, so we just have the two buttons here. So we're going to keep this on manual, and we're going to keep this on generator 1. Okay? But we're going to turn off phase 1, we're going to go to phase 2. This light comes on. Now I have these running in series. So I come into input 1, I go into phaser A, and then I come out of phaser A, and that's this phaser B input switch, out A. Now if I wanted to skip A and just come in here, now I should note that's not really skipping A. What that's doing is just, this is the setup if you want to run them parallel. But in order to then hear A, if I had A on, like if I have A on here, you're not going to hear it. Even though this is on, you're not hearing anything. And that's because I don't have anything hooked up to output A. Once you do this input A, you're in parallel mode, and you need to have output A and B hooked up. Okay? But the way I have this hooked up, I've got output B hooked up. So I'm going to run in series. So I come out of phaser A into phaser B. All right, it gets a little confusing. And I'm going to turn A off, and we'll just do phaser B, just so you can see. You've still got the square, that's the square wave, and you've got the sine. Right, I'm using generator 2 now. So there's two LFOs. The first one, sweep generator A, can also be used with phaser B. Sweep generator 2, the second LFO, can only be used with B. And you can set which one you want to choose, and then you can also choose that pedal that I mentioned, okay, for the sweep. So here we are. We can go from, we have sweep generator A set up to sine. So let's set sweep generator B up to a fast square, and we'll switch between them with this knob, and you'll see what it sounds like. So I'll turn them. This is the fast square. This is the slower sine with sweep generator 1. Okay, so that's what this does. This sets where you're getting your sweep source from. And you can also reverse it with respect to sweep generator 1. So, or well, to this phaser rather. So, if we have them both on, okay, that's that one. This is just B. Both together. Let's make the B not so drastic, so maybe it's easier to hear. So, because what we're doing now is we're running both phasers, right? We're running A into B. And I can reverse this one to this. Let's make them a little more similar so you can hear what that's doing. Turn up the feedback. Pretty similar, right? Turn them both on. I'm going to reverse one. So there's all sorts of warbly goodness you can get. Of course, you still got a depth and a feedback control on this B. You can just kind of hear how that just reverses it. All right. Again, Mu-Tron Bi-Phase. These were made in the 70s. This one is coming with the foot switch, and they're great units, man. If you want to pick this one up, at the time I'm posting this one's going to be for sale, but yeah, there's nothing else that does this kind of dual phase thing, and you know, they're great with synths. Maybe I should have demoed it with like a Minimoog, because they're really cool. You come in mono and you come out stereo, and you know, you can really widen some of those. Of course, it doesn't just have to be a Minimoog, right? Any of your you know, any of those monophonic synthesizers, it really gives you a whole other palette of sounds. Maybe I'll demo it with that. I don't know. All right. Hope you all doing well. Peace.